All right.
All right, so I'm gonna turn off my shit. Last time my shit went off.
All right,
Make
all
sure mine's on
right.
vibrate.
You guys ready?
Yeah, whenever.
We're good, brother?
Yeah.
All
My
right,
phone's
cool,
on
cool,
mute. We're
cool.
good. We're
All
All
right, your
right.
phone's on mute?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
All right.
All right, so welcome back, guys, to another insightful show. Welcome back to More Than Wages. You already know who I am. My name's Miguel. We got Dorian right here.
Yes, sir. And today we have a very special guest.
Yes, we do.
My mentor, my sensei from work.
There you go. There you go. Okay.
This guy has 5 years experience in the industry, the trucking industry. Please give a round of applause to Hector Salazar.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Hector. Welcome. So, Hector, we're going to be talking about how you can make like over 100,000 a year with your CDL license. And, we just want to hear a little bit about you, right? We wanna
Yeah.
hear-
Yeah. Talk to us about like your experience and, well, introduce yourself.
Yeah.
I'm Hector. I'm 29 years old. I've had my CDL for 5 years, as they have told you. I've always wanted to become a truck driver. I wanted to do it when I was like 18, but especially in Southern California, no one's going to hire you with a CDL at 18, 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it it's not worth it for anyone to insure you. So there's,
So since you were young, you wanted to be
yeah,
always wanted
it's
to be a
something
truck
I
driver.
wanted to
Oh, okay.
do. Everyone wants to go to college, and sometimes I regret not doing that. But I mean, as far as you can make a decent living as a truck driver and not have a higher education
Yeah.
if you choose to go that route. But I waited. Once I realized that I wasn't gonna get hired by anyone, at least here, until you're 25, unless you work for a big corporation, like those mega carriers that have thousands of trucks, no one's gonna be able to insure you.
Okay.
Yeah. So once I turned 25, boom. Oh, a little before that, I got my CDL, and that's when I started my journey. I started working for a company. I don't know if you guys want to start off straight like that or.
Yeah. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so, let's start off how I got my CDL.
Yeah.
So, most people go to a trucking school. There's a lot of ways to go about it. I had originally at the time I was struggling, so I applied for a program. Most states offer a program
Right.
to help you get your CDL. And I applied for it, but unfortunately I didn't qualify. But I think for someone who's struggling, not even struggling, someone who's unfortunate or for whatever reason, if someone's willing to help you get your CDL for free,
Yeah.
for example, the government, do it.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking actually to Dorian about.
Yeah.
Because I see a lot of people, well, actually a lot of programs out there that say, hey, you know what, come get your free CDL license, but through the company. So I wanted to ask you, like, is it better like getting it through the company? Is it better you getting it yourself? I mean, what are the pros and
Yeah.
cons? You're saying right now,
Yeah.
pros save money, right?
Yeah. So you definitely save money. If you can get it without getting into a contract with the company, I encourage people to do that.
Okay.
Because when you get your CDL through a company, the contract is you're gonna drive for them. Basically, that's their way of you paying off your debt to them. So
Yeah.
most trucking schools are like 5-8 grand when you hire onto a company.
Yeah.
And they're paying that for you. So what most companies do, they'll deduct a percent, or they'll deduct a payment from your check.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't know that you're gonna be over the road. You're gonna be out weeks at a time. You might be home 1 or 2 days. You're back out on the road weeks at a time, sometimes longer, and that's a sacrifice most people don't really think about when they get their CDL through a company. Is you get a free CDL.
But you got to be loyal to them, right?
You have to, and if for whatever reason you decide you don't want to be out all the time, you have family at home, relatives, whatever, you still owe that debt to them, and
Yeah.
they will come after you.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that 5-8 grand you owe them, you don't just.
So it's not free. So they're charging you every paycheck.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I
And
thought it was free.
I've heard of most like big carriers. It's usually like a year, but in some instances it's like 2 years. And
That's what I heard too.
yeah, I personally I couldn't do that, especially if you have like wife, kids.
Yeah,
That's a big sacrifice to make. But if you're someone who's single, doesn't have kids, it's not a bad route, man. You could save a lot of money and stuff.
Dorian?
No, so for the new guys, that are just looking into getting their CDL, or maybe they're newly grads with the CDLs, explain to them what over the road is. Maybe some of them don't really know what over
Yeah.
the road is.
Basically, over the road, you're for the most part, you're gonna drive all. You say 48 states because no one really crosses
Right.
over to Alaska or what is it, Hawaii?
Yeah.
What is it now? Puerto Rico?
Yeah,
I
Puerto
believe,
Rico.
yeah, so it's 51. My bad. But yeah,
Something
you're
like
basically you're basically gonna drive all 48 states, and you're gonna drive in all weather, snow, rain,
Oh, okay.
windy. You're gonna have to learn to drive in all kinds of weather, and you're just basically driving 11 hours a day, maxing out your hours of service, sleeping 10 hours, back on it again.
Yeah.
That's gonna be your life for the next. Usually, those big companies who help you get your license, they want you out weeks at a time. You're
Oh,
talking
really?
4 weeks, 6
Okay.
weeks. Then you're allowed to have
Yeah.
a weekend off.
Yeah.
But then
And this
Yeah.
is not hourly pay, right? This
no,
you get paid per month.
you get paid per mile, and when you first start off, you're not gonna get top pay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what's the average. I think the average for a truck driver right now, especially with those mega carriers that help you get your license, it's probably like 40, 50, 60,000, which
Okay.
it's actually a pretty respectable salary considering the average.
You don't need a GED. You don't need
you
college
don't need-
education.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then what most people don't realize is, yeah, I know certain people, like if you don't have wife and kids or whatever, you're unfortunate.
Putting in those hours.
Exactly. You're gonna put in the hours, but you're basically living inside the truck.
Okay.
Depending on how you take it, you could save a lot of money if you think about it. You don't pay rent.
Yeah.
You're not paying electrical bills. You're not paying internet or whatever.
Yeah.
You could just live in the truck. and
Okay.
You could save some money and get out of there.
Yeah.
So that's what I would have done, knowing now.
Yeah.
But I came in trucking when I already had a family, so
Okay,
that
okay.
definitely wasn't something that I could do, but something I wish I could have done.
Yeah. So it's just some info for you guys that are just starting off. You could do that as well.
Yeah,
And then I want to talk about the school, right? Like the baby steps. Like first you go to school. Like what's the process? What is that?
Oh yeah,
process?
first you go to school. You go to school.
Couple months.
I think most schools are like 2 months.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not bad. What, 2 months?
That's what I did. Yeah,
Like
2
2
months.
months?
Yeah.
Mine was like a week.
Was it online?
Yeah. Imagine you find out. Oh yeah, I've been driving trucks for a week. You don't know that guy's been out there for a week, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay.
So what I don't that company doesn't exist no more. It was more of like a CDL rental. So you basically, I think I paid him. This was back in like 2018. I paid this guy $800
Yeah.
just to rent his truck, and he gave me like a quick
Yeah.
this is you're gonna be your pre-trip. He gave me like a study guide. I memorized it, and then he gave me like a few hours of like movements.
Yeah.
And we went like 30 minutes
We
driving
like
around.
those type of schools. We like those type of schools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was literally like he basically designed it to make it as simple as possible just to pass the test.
Okay,
That school did not prepare you for like actual
Okay.
trucking, you
Okay.
know?
I don't think any of the schools prepare
No,
you for
none of them
trucking.
really do.
Yeah.
They literally, they're designed just to help you get your CDL.
Yeah,
and that's
that's it.
it.
And that's it. So 1 week, and how long was yours? 2 months.
Mine was 2 months.
2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
That's a big gap.
I'm still struggling
Yeah.
out here.
and I think, I had been researching trucking and movements and all for years. So I had a little more knowledge and I was a little more comfortable with everything.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
still, 1 week is not, I don't recommend you guys go that route.
Okay, so did you put that like on your application, like when you started getting
No.
a job?
No.
Did you get hooked up? Like what kind of industry can you jump into like with that type of training?
When you first get your CDL, there's you pretty much have to pay your dues as far as who's going to hire you and how much you're going to make. Fresh out of school, you don't really have many choices. Most carriers or most companies, they want at least 1 year of experience, but that's
Not a week.
No,
A year.
1 year of driving experience, no accidents. That's the big thing.
Okay.
That's the big thing. Almost any company looks for is accidents. So I think number one thing when you first get your CDL, take care of your license. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of your license because that's just, I didn't have a college degree, so what do I have to
Yeah,
call?
yeah,
You know.
yeah.
I don't want to go back to a warehouse. Right?
Yeah.
And real quick, a lot of people think that it's just an accident with the truck. No, it's not, right? It's
No, so yeah, definitely. Anything when you hold a CDL, anything you do in your personal vehicle, you're held accountable as if you're driving a commercial vehicle. You get a DUI, you get into an accident, it's still going to come
Oh,
up on your commercial
really?
vehicle. Yeah, so a lot of guys don't know that. For you guys who like to, speed race or
Yeah.
or race or whatever,
Yeah,
there are things you got to think about when you get into this industry. Are you willing to sacrifice certain things? 'Cause-
exactly. So people shy away from you if you have like points in your license.
Oh, yeah.
accidents.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got to understand, there's a lot of people who get their CDL and have no accidents. Or are you going to hire the guy with accidents or the guy with
Yeah, exactly.
exactly?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I did not know. That's a good question.
Yeah. But yeah, I went to CDL school for a week. I got. Obviously, I didn't tell him I went to school for a week. I was like, yeah, I got my certificate. They gave you.
There's a lot of loopholes out there. I remember
Yeah.
maybe like 2010, I was studying to get my real estate license.
Yeah.
And I paid someone $300 not knowing them. And they actually, I had to take 3 courses, principles of real estate and like 3 courses. I don't remember. It was a long time ago, 10 years. I'm aging myself. But I paid him $300. The next day he came in, he gave me nothing but A's that I passed the test. I didn't know nothing about real estate. I didn't know anything. I just knew that, I paid and I'm ready to take the real estate test. Pretty much a lot of the things that you do learn are going to be actually like on the road. So, you got to hit
Yeah.
those bumps on the
Yeah.
road. So I guess, that's good. I mean, I don't think you need like a whole year, a week, maybe 2 months would be better.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, you learn more stuff on the road, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, and let's get back to paying your dues.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
So let's say you get your CDO, you're all excited, you're like, yes, I finally got this license, I'm gonna be making big money, and that's not the case at all, is it? It's
No.
you're not gonna go hauling fuel your
no,
first,
definitely.
your first month, right? There's
Making
no
that
way.
hazard pay. Huh?
Yeah,
As
nah.
Matt paid, no, as far as fuel, you pretty much have to have a perfect driving record for 2 years straight.
Oh, it's 2 years? About 2
At
years?
yeah, 2 years. Sometimes, depending on how the market is, like when the market is slow, they're not really hiring truck drivers.
Yeah.
They're gonna be picky about everything.
Right.
And hazard pay, I'm sorry for interrupting. For those that don't know, that's like transporting gasoline
Hazmat, yeah.
Okay, like
Hazmat and
anything.
any chemicals, gas,
Oh, okay.
explosions, and anything explosive. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Extra hazard pay.
But yeah, you're pretty much going to pay your dues. You have very few options. Most people think you're just going to drive a big truck, hit a dock, and that's about it. But no, there's other things you can do. Like a lot of companies, there's food service,
Okay.
which is mainly a labor. People don't think, it pays really well, but it's more of a labor job than it is driving.
Yeah.
Can you give us like a breakdown of what you guys go through in a day, like doing that food delivery?
Can we?
Could you? I mean,
yeah.
hypothetically,
we'll be very vague.
something.
Yeah. Food service, you're okay. So most fast food restaurants, let's use an example, Wingstop. They order a lot of food, dry supplies, merchandise. Everything has to get there somehow.
Of course.
Yeah, you think it just magically appears there? No,
Yeah, we
right?
never see it.
Yeah, right. No, there's someone who comes in. Usually, they have a driver and a semi who delivers everything by hand in a dolly.
Okay.
And they put it away in their in designated areas. But it's more of a labor job because it's a local job. You're only driving maybe like 100 miles max.
Yeah.
In a day for the most part, but you're driving maybe like 2 hours a day.
Yeah. Eat at that.
At that, but you're doing like 12 hours of labor work.
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
don't see you guys. So is it like what kind of like shift are you working? Like
You're pretty much working graveyards, man. You can most places start from like 8 to like 2 in the morning, 3 in the
Yeah,
morning.
type thing,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so usually when everyone's waking up and going to work, most
yeah,
of those
you guys are in the road, huh?
They're already like,
You guys show up like Santa Claus, or like Santa
Yeah,
Claus
pretty
in the morning,
much.
the night.
yeah.
okay.
Oh man, there's a lot of things that happen in food service,
Hey,
but
and what do you think that is? What do you think they choose that schedule? What do you think they choose like 8 at night? What do you think they choose graveyard shift?
it's the most optimal as far as there's less traffic. You don't your drivers are less likely to get into accidents.
Okay.
Right.
You're
Nice.
maneuvering through what is it, shopping centers, these
Yeah.
small shopping centers,
Yeah.
and a lot of cars. There's more room for accidents. So when you're working graveyard, you just have less people to
Right.
get in the way.
Less
But
cars in the street, more stops, more production.
Yeah,
smart.
pretty much.
There's some plazas that I go to, and there's so many people, and I'm like, I'm not gonna back out of here. You
Yeah.
know? There's gonna be some crazy guy that's gonna walk behind me. I'm like,
Yeah.
I avoid that at all costs.
Yeah, there's, man, food service is something else.
It's
but
tough.
it's one of those industries that you get paid really well, but you earn every cent you make there,
Okay,
man.
yeah, most definitely.
Just as my boy here, man.
I lost like 100 pounds.
I know it's a big difference, man.
Yeah.
I didn't see you for like 2 weeks. I'm like, who's this guy coming into my house?
Yeah, most people think you're like, man, I signed up to be a truck driver. I'm like, yeah, you're in food service, man.
Yeah.
But what most people don't realize is when you're over the road, you're literally backing up maybe once a day. When you're in food service, you're doing those maneuvers like 10 times a day or more, you know?
Yeah.
So you get more experience quicker in food service than you would if you were on the road and stuff
Right.
like
Yeah.
that.
In these 3 months that I've been driving, I feel so much more comfortable with the truck now.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, like I feel good. Like I can back up. I can like straight back into tight little places.
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
geez, I
Off
learned
the
a lot.
street,
Yeah.
in between cars, going in and around you. I mean,
And it feels good because in the beginning I would be a little bit scared, be more cautious. I'd be
Yeah.
like, oh, maybe if that car leaves. But now it's just like, I got to get out of here. I got to go to my next stop.
yeah,
right?
exactly.
So now it's
You
like,
always
I
got
got to do
that-
this. Yeah, you got this.
got that
push.
pressure.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
that push to,
You-
better yourself.
You know what? You guys were talking about that. Something that comes to my mind every time that I would see or hear people that have their commercial license. I would always be scared. I'll be honest with you. Driving that big truck and
Yeah.
getting stuck in traffic. I seen just driving down the street like big trucks taking out light posts and stuff like that. So in my head, I'm like, man, like that's kind of difficult. That's something that I wouldn't really see myself doing. And there's a lot of people that are out there probably gonna, watching the show, and they don't have their GED, they don't have a college diploma, and they're probably scared. They're probably scared of driving those
Yeah.
big trucks. Like, what can you tell them? Like, you get comfortable through time. Like,
Just with anything, yeah.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like with anything. I mean, it's like I don't know if you guys like when you first get your license to drive a regular car.
Yeah.
And then you drive like your dad's truck or
Yeah.
your Suburban, and you're like, man, this thing feels a little too big. It's the same thing with commercial vehicles. It's just with time, it becomes natural. It becomes second nature, and
Yeah.
you don't really think about it anymore after a while, right? But
Like the dudes in the Peterbilts driving with their seat all the way down with the freaking.
oh man, that was
With the big like right here.
oh man, that was the first company I worked for. I used to drive a classic truck like that. It was funny telling everyone, yeah, I've only been here for like 2 months in a classic, and they're like, they let you drive that truck? Like, people couldn't believe that I had such little experience driving a classic long hood truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's another guy. That's another that's a lifestyle. Those guys in those trucks.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a lifestyle.
Yeah.
a lot of people see trucking as a hobby and a lifestyle
Yeah.
as well.
That's why I get those big the sleepers. What do they call them?
The big the big sleepers with the
twin bed and the king bed in the back. I don't know.
yeah.
And don't some of them have like an extension in the back?
Oh yeah, some of the guys have the extended. They're called the condos, the extended. They're like super long sleepers. They
Yeah.
almost look like RVs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I've seen
insane,
those.
dude.
That's dope. That's dope. Question. You've been in the game for a couple years. I mean, do you see yourself maybe getting like what's like a certificate for like biohazard
Oh,
and stuff
hazmat.
like hazmat?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, when you get your CDL, honestly, if my recommendation to everyone is get all of your endorsements.
Oh, endorsements.
And
That's
your
that's the
endorsements,
word,
yeah. I when I got my CDL, I got my doubles, triples, my tankers. I got my hazmat, but I let it go. Big mistake.
Yeah.
Because after a year, if you don't, once you get your CDL, you have up to a year from when you were issued your license to get all your endorsements. So within that year, you just go to the DMV, you take the endorsement test, which is like 15, 20 questions.
Yeah.
Just to add your endorsement to your license, and now you're able to you're adding more
More value to yourself.
to your license to
Yeah.
exactly.
So,
yeah.
So don't let it expire because every year might be something new, right? You just gotta
Yeah,
keep on.
So after the year, you might have to do all the questions.
You have to do it all. You have to do the
Oh.
pre-trip. You have to do the the air brakes, everything. all over.
all the written question.
You have to do the entire written
Okay.
thing, the pre-trip, all
What do
over
you mean
again.
pre-trip? Like go outside with the truck?
You do you have to do everything, the behind the wheel, everything.
No, you don't.
Yep. After a year, you have to start
Get ready.
What?
Yep.
What about skills? You got to do skills. all over?
Everything.
No way.
Can you give us a breakdown about like the what the doubles are, the tankers and stuff like that?
I'm pretty sure you've seen mostly like UPS, FedEx hauling two of the smaller trailers.
Oh, yeah.
At least here in California. In other states, you see guys hauling triples, you see guys hauling double 53s, and
No
Why is that? Because it's
way.
mostly highway or
it's mostly highway.
Yeah.
Usually the guys hauling doubles, they're moving product from yard to yard.
oh, okay.
They call them shuttle drivers or line haul drivers.
Ah, that's why. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So usually, a lot of the guys who work over the road are regional. You'll see, for example, a UPS drive from LA to, let's say, like Vegas, like maybe like halfway point of Vegas, and then they have the Vegas driver, and they swap out trailers, and then they go back to their yard. That's pretty much what they do.
Cool.
What most of the doubles.
And you've done that before, right? You've done regional.
Yeah.
So you've done food service, regional, and you also worked at the port, or where else? I know you told me.
I've worked at the port, but I wasn't the guy pulling out the containers and all. They had the company I worked for. They used to have guys pulling containers out, dedicated to just pulling containers out, and then they had other drivers just delivering those containers to
Oh,
warehouses.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually really enjoyed that job. It's one of the easier jobs. You're just driving.
Yeah.
Once you've worked food service, any job you ever do is going to be easy. As
Yeah.
far as effort, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
Because you're just driving for the most part, and it was just a chill job. I would drive. I like to think regional is you're only driving a certain amount of states, like a few states. You're not going like from one coast to the next coast. That's what
Yeah.
I think of over the road is for the most part. I would go from all over California to Utah, Nevada, Arizona. I was gone from the most 2 to 3 days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed that. It's more of a oh yeah,
Let's
compared
not say why.
I mean, it's very scenic, but I really enjoyed the fact that you're just driving, man, listening
Yeah.
to podcasts, you're learning, you're
Yeah.
And how's the money in regional work?
Regional work, it is a little bit, for the most part, as far as regional, most of the over the road drivers transition to regional because that's usually where that's where most mega carriers they usually offer their guys like, hey, we have this regional position. Are you interested? But the money was good. I mean, as far as where I was working in the ports, they used to pay us by the load.
Yeah.
So you're incentivized to work more, obviously. But it really depends on who you work for. Obviously, the mega carriers then tend to pay a little bit
Yeah.
less than like some mom and pops, but it works both ways. What I definitely recommend is people not to work 1099.
No.
I mean, unless you know what you're doing, because
Okay.
that's if you don't know anything about the tax system, don't get involved.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of guys are like, "Oh, I'm getting all this money," but it's like, is it 1099 or W2? They're like, "Oh, it's 1099."
Yeah.
It's like, there you go.
You better get a good tax
They don't know
attorney.
they
or
already
no,
owe like a third of that or more.
Yeah.
not an attorney. What is it? What is a tax consultant? Get all those deductions in there, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're driving over the road, I mean, is there like a limit, like on how many hours you could drive?
So for the most part, you're only allowed to, as far as driving itself, you're only allowed to drive 11 hours in a day,
Okay.
but you're allowed a 14-hour day. So whatever, let's say if you obviously no one's gonna drive 11 hours nonstop.
Yeah.
So you might drive 3 hours, go and take a break, take a lunch, whatever,
Yeah.
nap or whatever. Then you start driving again, and then you get out and stretch, and
Yeah.
so you're pretty much driving. You're driving 11 hours within a 14-hour day, pretty
Yeah.
much, and then you're allowed to have. Every company has their own policy, but as far as federal law, I believe is you have to take a 30-minute break within an 8-hour period after that, and then another 30-minute break within a 12-hour period. So you're pretty much just driving, man. There's really not much to it.
All right.
I
cool,
mean-
cool. Yeah, a lot of people don't drive that many hours unless you're on some power. I don't know what. a lot of
Yeah.
monsters.
Energy
Don't
drink.
drive that.
Well, yeah, truckers have a bad rep for like falling asleep and stuff like that. Yeah.
Respect, man. They move America. So
Nah, they do.
Yeah.
You know what? Food service, dude. Like all these food service guys, especially like Hector, from his background, where he comes from, all the dirty work he had to do. This guy's a hero, dude.
Yeah.
Like once I find out what they do, I'm like, what? How is anybody working these jobs?
Yeah.
And it's insane because, like you
Yeah.
said, you don't see them, right?
Yeah.
They're like,
You don't see
Yeah.
any what goes behind the scenes of food service. People think, oh, these 50-pound boxes of potatoes just appeared there.
So it's labor intense as well.
Very labor
Yeah.
intensive. You're gonna will average like 15 to 30 pounds a day that has to get off your truck by hand
Yeah.
into the, the customers. You have to maneuver the truck, and I mean,
And some of these guys are ramping it.
you're running up and down ramps and
Not a
yeah.
lift gate, a ramp.
Yeah.
So you lay down a ramp, freaking stack up your
Yeah.
dolly.
Electric pallet jack?
Some companies offer, not all of them.
Okay, okay,
so-
yeah.
At least here in Southern California, most companies have lift gates, but there are some who still run ramp.
Oh, man.
But I know in most parts of the country, lift gates are not too common.
it's
Really?
I hear
Wow.
about that. Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah.
So my job is already tough. I mean, I love it, but it's tough. So I can just imagine if I had
Oh,
if I
yeah.
had to ramp it, dude. Oh, I don't know if I
Oh,
could
my
do that.
God.
Yeah, that's why food service. There are the lifers. I know a lot of guys who are like 40, 50, 60 years old who've been there most 20 years, and it's like, dude, how are you still doing this?
Yeah.
But I mean, depending on how you take everything, some people see it as like they're working out. I think that's the best
Yeah.
way to take it. You're getting paid
Yeah.
really well to work out.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the way
Yeah.
I like to think of
Yeah.
it. And then
And then you go home every night, right?
yeah, you're home every night.
yeah.
But that's the thing. If you ask some drivers, it's like you're home every night, but you're really not, because you're working 14 hours.
Yeah.
You go home and you have to be back in 10 hours.
Oh, okay.
If you're in Southern California, you're driving almost an hour home.
Oh, easy.
You're driving an hour to work. That gives you
Easy.
8 hours to sleep, eat, be with your family. So it's like it's a give and take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you're over the road, you're pretty much out all week.
Yeah.
But when you're home, you're really
You're home.
You're home.
Yeah.
You're able to really dedicate all that time to your family. And when you're over here, as far as food service, you pretty much you're on like a 7-8 hour clock. Realistically, 10
Oh,
hours,
geez.
no.
Yeah, your days off, you really have to plan them out. Cause
Yeah, you do. And then you get used to sleeping to your schedule. Like, I've been off this entire week,
Yeah.
but I still wake up at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
it's like washing the car outside.
Oh.
Mowing the lawn.
Yeah, my body's programmed to wake up at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Even though I've been off all week, and it's like I'm just there, rolling around the
I
bed.
know I get text messages from Dorian like at 5 a.m. And I'm used to like at 10 in the morning. I'm like, who's this texting me so early?
Yo, remember I used to wake up like at 1 p.m.
Like at 1 p.m. and then he's texting me at 5, 6 in the morning. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, you start to adjust to your schedule, and what's it on my days off when I would sleep in, I'd get headaches because I wasn't used to sleeping in no more.
Oh yeah. I think
Yeah.
because I usually have like a Monster in the morning or something.
You
'cause
start-
caffeine
you have
withdrawals.
caffeine at certain times of the
Yeah.
day, every single day. That when you sleep in,
Your body's
You wake up with
programmed.
the headache.
already.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
man,
So on my days off, I'm like a zombie, dude. I'm like
first couple
super
hours,
tired.
you're just like-
Yeah.
dreaming about driving, huh?
Yeah.
Like,
You'll have dreams about food service. You're putting product away in your dreams, and you wake up, you're like, I'm off today. Why am I dreaming about stuff like this?
You know what I love about food service though? It's like, you know how we start off in the morning? Like I always look forward to the sunrise. Like it's like a new day that gives me energy. Opposed to like my
Yeah.
other friends, right?
Right.
That-
It's like hit or miss. At first, you feel like you start to get a little more tired.
Yeah.
And then the sun comes up, and you feel like you're waking
you
up.
get like this rush
Yeah.
of energy.
Yeah,
huh?
it's like you're waking up twice.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate that. I get flashbacks to my party days when it's like 3, 4 in the morning. You heard the birds chirping, the sunlight coming in, and you're like, oh, you start getting the shakes. All right, cool. I mean, that's pretty interesting. I mean, so let's start from number 1, huh? Let's talk. If someone wants to get their CDL, pretty much it's going to school. It's
Go to school.
going to a job that it's going to be welcoming, which is maybe a little bit tougher, but it's going to get you like, those scars, those battle scars.
Oh, yeah,
That you're going to be pushing
definitely.
the food service, right?
Well, let me say this real quick
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
When you go to CDO school, well, from what I've seen,
Yeah.
people think it's gonna be 2 months of just driving, backing up, and it's not like that at all. It's more technical in the beginning. So you guys, if you want to go to CDL school, don't think you're gonna be like driving for 6 hours or whatever the course is.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like that's the last thing you're gonna do. The first thing you're
Yeah.
gonna be doing is learning all the technical things like naming the parts,
Yeah,
naming the
definitely.
air
Okay.
brakes, knowing all the parts of the truck,
Yeah.
like all the technical stuff.
Yeah,
Then
exactly.
once you're like advanced in that, now you can start
Yeah.
driving the trucks, right?
Yeah.
Because you're driving freaking commercial equipment.
Yeah.
You know?
It's heavy duty
It's
stuff.
heavy duty
Yeah.
stuff, and you have to know the name, the parts, the functions, because you know, they're gonna take you out on the road and be like, good luck. So
Yeah.
so just know that once you go to CDO school, be focused, like clear your schedule and make CDO school like 100%, like
Yeah, I think so.
your thing, right? Focus on it
Yeah.
100%. If not, I've seen guys at school that were there for like 6 months, they couldn't pass. And it's
Yeah.
like, come on, dude. It's just like,
6 months?
Yeah, you're not
You usually-
focusing.
If you want it, you'll get it. I mean,
Yeah, you
I
gotta
took
want
a
it.
trucking school for a week. And I passed everything my first time.
That's what I saw.
But I already had most of the things. I had everything, like, I had research, learned about everything for years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I didn't come in just blind, you know?
Yeah.
But there's people who come in like that
Yeah.
and
Now I remember when I was in school, there was a couple dudes from like other countries. They've been freaking driving since I was like 15.
yeah.
And,
Oh,
come,
yeah.
and they're like, it's their first day at school, but they're already backing that thing up. Like, you know, they're pros. They've been driving for
Yeah,
years.
shout
and
out to my
years.
Indian homies out there. Yeah,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
taking over the game. Respect.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's dope. And what could you add to, like, what could you tell somebody that wants to jump in, like, you know, from your point of view? Like, what do you recommend? Advice?
I think it all comes down to, I think, the individual situation. Like, if you're a single guy, you know, I say, I mean, enjoy trucking.
Yeah.
But as far as what kind of job you want, I mean, really look into everything. Are you someone who really values their personal time? You know, then maybe over the road isn't for you.
Okay.
Are you someone who wants to work local? Maybe it really comes down to what works for you as far as your personal life. I think is most importantly. I mean, if it was me and I had no kids and no wife, no nothing, I'd probably just be over the road, saving money.
Yeah.
Having someone pay for all the expenses, and I'm just, you know,
Exactly.
maybe not make as much as I would in food service, but because I don't have any of the other costs.
Ah, that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
yeah.
That's true.
I know. I've heard of several guys. I know of guys who a lot of people like to down talk working for a big company. You're out all over the road all the time, but that's how they were able to save up and buy their own truck and become owner operators, you know? And
Yeah.
I think it comes down to everyone's personal situation. If you're a guy and, like, you know, you're in debt, I recommend getting a food service.
Put in that word.
Yeah, you're gonna lose. I don't know about everyone's health, but you'll probably maybe lose some weight.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're
for sure. Yeah.
like I tell everyone who gets into food service, get in, save your money, and whenever you feel like you're ready to get out, get out. Just
Yeah.
'cause I know guys who get into food service, they're used to making that 100,000 or more a year.
Yeah.
So they make that their lifestyle. They get the nice truck, they get the nice the jewelry, clothes. They get
Yeah.
in debt, and then now they can't leave food service because
Life.
you're not going to make that money just driving, bumping docks. You're not going to make
Exactly.
130,000 a year just
Exactly.
bumping docks. You're not, unless you're one of the very few who could join like UPS.
Uh-huh.
But it's
So go stack up money, maybe make a business, maybe become an owner operator. Maybe we
Yeah.
can talk about that in the
Yeah.
next episode.
but it just comes, like I said, it comes down to if someone, there's people who are happy working 8, 9, 10 hours a day, making 50,000 a year. More power to you. But then there's people who they want to make more money, but
Yeah.
unfortunately they make the wrong decisions.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's how I feel too. You know, you look at those checks, you're like, oh, I can go buy this nice car. You know, it's
And you
nothing.
get
It's nothing
M4.
to me. Yeah, I'll go get M4.
That's what you're talking about, the 1099 checks, right? You're like, you know,
oh yeah,
Looking at
Yeah.
the money and you think, oh, I could spend all this, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Fam.
I'll get it
Knock,
again
knock.
next month. But then, you know, all of a sudden you're like, oh, you're like in this giant hole, you can't get out of it.
yeah.
yeah. And then it's like, fortunately for me, like I had a recent injury and I can't work food service for a while anymore, right?
Okay.
So if I would have got myself in a situation where I have to make that food service money all the time,
Yeah.
I would have screwed myself.
Yeah.
I'm basically gonna be running negative as far as you know, the financial ends of stuff. But there are guys who are just, you know, one check away or one injury away
Exactly.
from.
Paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, don't. That's what I think the best thing as far as food service is: make your money, find out what you want to do. If this is what you want to do for the
Yeah.
rest of your life, more power to you, man. You're gonna
Yeah.
be healthy. You're gonna be depending on your personal needs. You might be miserable if you have a family. You're just living paycheck
Yeah,
to paycheck,
yeah.
and
And-
you have to be there. But
And that's actually great advice. Pretty much the root core of everything is your relationship with money.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
have a real
Yes.
good relationship with money, you're going to be able to prepare yourself for whatever, recessions, black swan events, injuries,
Anything.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that's number one, relationship with money.
yes, definitely. You know, you can. not saying you're going to be rich in trucking, but you can have some
could scale.
financial. You can work yourself up to financial freedom with your CDL.
what we want.
I have friends who he was in food service for a couple years, bought his own truck. He's doing really well. He's about to buy another truck, and that
Nice.
it all comes down to what you want and how you plan ahead. And
Exactly.
don't think of right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get that new car.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's situation is different, but it all comes down to what you guys want at the end.
See, that's why this guy's my sensei.
There you go. And then the
I tell him,
future,
I used to tell him like, hey, I know you want that new Beamer, but
yeah, you've been talking about it for a
if
minute.
you don't want to get stuck in this type of environment
Yeah.
for the next 5-6 years, I
Yeah.
don't recommend you get it.
So coming to maybe Hector's Trucking, you're gonna be leasing out right now those trucks or what?
Nah, right now it's not the time for me to become an owner operator. I've had the opportunity. I probably should have taken it.
Yeah.
Watching how my friend is doing now.
Yeah.
He's like, he tells me, you see, you should have jumped on when I did. I told you. And,
Yeah.
but it just wasn't my time, and
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
still not my time, especially with my injury. I got a lot of other things to focus on. But yeah, there's money to be made in trucking. I think everyone needs to go out there and take advantage of it.
Yeah.
We got with the talks of, what is it? The AI trucking, all that going on.
Oh yeah. Shout out Tesla, Elon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally don't think that's going to happen for a while because this is why I tell everyone, get all your endorsements. The first, sooner or later, they're going to be successful. The first thing they're going to phase out is, I think, over the road trucking. Because you're
Yeah.
just driving straight for the most
Yeah.
part,
Right.
right? But when you have like food service, you're
Oh, no, there's no way.
There's no way.
Yeah.
It's a long
There's
time
certain
coming.
industries that are going to be affected more than others, and I think that's where having all your endorsements will really help you set you aside and apart from everyone else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Chat GPT can't do all that. Food service thing. Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
Anything else we could add on?
Yeah, dude. I mean, trucking is such. We just spoke about a very small sector.
There's
in
so
trucking.
much to it.
There's
We
so
could
much to
ramble
it.
on for hours.
We
Yeah.
can talk about just being owner operator for another episode.
Okay.
another,
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah,
but
it's-
there's just
so
so
much
many.
to it.
Yeah, there's so even food service. We could talk about like we go deep, heavy into food service,
Stories,
different
of
companies.
things
yeah.
that happen. Man, you can go on all day.
Yeah. All right. All right. So
Yeah.
I guess we're gonna have you maybe hopefully back.
Yeah,
And,
I'd be willing to come back. It was great talking to you guys, and I don't know if it's about to end right now, but
Yeah, it was. We're coming up short on time. It was very insightful. We do want you back because I know you do have a lot of stories to tell,
Oh, I have
and
a
we
lot
want to. You guys, any questions
About
in the
trucking?
comment section
Yeah.
about trucking? Anything that comes to your mind? DM, send a message, whatever it is to get our attention. Just send it.
yeah,
You
definitely.
even do a one-on-one phone call with Hector.
Yeah,
No,
why
hey,
not?
right now I have all the time in the world. Just hit me up. You need some advice as far as getting your CDL. There's programs out there that'll help you.
Oh
you know.
yeah, to the programs. So the people out there that don't know, it's not just either pay out of pocket. It's not just go through a company. You can also find that program with the state.
The state, there's
And
yeah.
yeah, they'll help
Okay.
you pay for it. That's the route I chose, and I wasn't working at the time, and I forgot what else they asked for a couple things or
Yeah.
a couple requirements, and that's the route that I went through. So before you even look into going with the company to pay for your school, always do your own research, and maybe there's a program out there.
Definitely.
Yeah, you'll save a
Okay.
ton of
I
money.
know all states are a little different
Yeah.
as far as funding and stuff.
Yeah.
but yeah, that was my first thing I tried to do was try to go through the state. Unfortunately, I didn't get approved. That just means I didn't need it, I guess.
Yeah.
But I had money saved. I did that 1 week CDL rental. But if you can get your license without going to a contract with the big company, and do it. That way you have your choice of where you want to go. Because when you don't have a CDL, and you have very few options as far as who's going to help you get it.
Yeah.
And there's it comes with there's a price. You pay a price. For it.
Exactly. You gotta always pay a price.
So if you can get your CDL on your own, I definitely recommend you going that route. That way you can go wherever you want.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Not only that, let's say you go on with the company, like you could go on with the same companies that help you get your CDL. But if you come with your CDL, if you decide to leave them, you don't owe them any. There's no contract. You don't owe them anything.
Yeah.
So
They need
you're-
you.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Sweet. There you go.
I think that's the best route. Don't get your. I know a lot of these. Forgot to mention, a lot of these big companies, when you get your CDL, you get an automatic restriction. So
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I recommend to you guys is get your CDL with no restrictions. If I know you don't have a choice if you go to like a big carrier like maybe Swift or Knight.
What is the restriction for those?
So, a restriction could be like, if you test in an automatic truck to get
Yeah.
your license, you're only allowed to drive automatic trucks because there's a huge difference between driving an automatic semi and a manual.
Most definitely.
Huge difference.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm pretty sure you heard guys like driving. You just hear like,
Yeah, grinding those.
those are loud. Yeah, and there's just a lot more room for error in a manual transmission than in an automatic truck.
automatic.
These modern automatics are amazing.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah, I
amazing.
heard
You
that.
could put the average person in a new semi and put it in drive, and
It's like driving a car,
it's
dude.
like driving a car.
Yeah.
It's
Crazy.
crazy how.
Yeah. Sometimes you like forget and you gotta like come back on. Like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I'm driving a truck.
Yeah. And then other restrictions could be like, it's like with a license too. Maybe you have to wear your glasses to drive. It would be the same thing.
Yeah.
Maybe you need certain equipment or physical disability or whatever. They'll put a restriction on your license, but you could drive with certain, equipment and stuff. But other than that, yeah, definitely. If you can get your license with no restrictions, do
No
it.
restrictions, guys.
And with no debt, do it.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
too.
I think that's my biggest advice to anyone. That way you can have that freedom to go where you want to.
All right. For
Yeah,
sure.
definitely.
All right. All right. Cool.
Yeah, guys, there's so much more I want to talk about, but unfortunately we're running out of time.
Yeah,
so-
we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you, Hector. Value gold. Shout out to gold. Over $2,000 an ounce today. So yeah, buy gold, buy silver, and then yeah, hopefully we could bring you back
I'd love to
soon,
come back, man.
and we
Thank
could
you for
talk
having
about
me.
other stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So if you guys stayed for the full episode, this is number 4. Hopefully you stay for number 5. Big shout out to everybody that listens, shares us. Thank you. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
let us know what else you guys want to talk about on the podcast, and we'll try to get a special guest, someone in that field,
Yeah.
so we can answer your question.
Yeah, we got a lot of people coming
Yeah.
up. So thank you.
All
All right. All
Yo.
right. Yep.
That's right, baby.
right.
All right.